profitable is building in believable psychology that defeats going forward the old psychology that anytime you got into a trade and then everything went wrong, like you get into a trade and equities did this and futures did that and oil did this and the dollar did that, that you froze up and didn't know what to do. The freezing up is a byproduct of jumping back into unconstructive psychology that doesn't know how or is not capable of aiding you when things go wrong after you get into the trade. So it's building a new constructive psychology that when things go wrong, you easily, no problem, click out of the trade, wait for the next setup, lost my criteria. Very calmly handling the situation with new constructive psychology that's basically helping you or is very constructive in making sure you have good daily operational habits, that all your little taskings, every time you get in a trade, all the operational habits of clicking on the dome, interpreting price action, interpreting delta, interpreting the setup, until you build a new, a new being of constructive psychology, until you do that, you will always have old negative psychology, or what I call unconstructive psychology, that's built off of previous failures, previous negative life experiences, emotional attachments to money, the wife looking over your shoulder every time you get in a trade, or the husband looking over your shoulder, your P&L. I mean, all the things that would typically make you do everything wrong after the market did something you didn't want it to do after you get into a trade. The problem is getting into trades, if the market does things you don't want it to, that should not at all change your psychology. You have to have new psychology that goes, oh, no problem, this is what I'm going to do. You know, you have a psychological capability then that can handle what would typically push you back into unconstructive psychology, freeze you up, make you make bad decisions, make you dynamically perpetuate bad daily operational habits. But I wanted you to see that a group of people, military, very high level of competition, very high level individuals in a very dangerous daily job of learning how to fly in a very second or millisecond by millisecond critical interactions with each other, all being human beings. And one thing human beings are great at doing, and that's failing at stuff. But they've shown you can train a human being to do very intense, complex, multitasking all at the same time in a very dangerous environment and do it very good. So trading is a breeze compared to what the Blue Angels have to go through. But just realize the level of commitment that they themselves go through as a group and as individuals to get to that level. What are you going to be willing to do from a level of commitment to develop your capabilities for just clicking on a little dome and, you know, hopping in and out of the market during the day? You know, obviously you're not going to die by trying to intraday scalp, you know, versus flying and, you know, getting caught in the guy's, you know, maybe number 4 trail diamond position, flies a little bit too high and sucks into his intakes the exhaust of the number 1 aircraft, and goes into flame out. I mean, you're not in the environment where something that you do wrong in a millisecond will put you in harm's way to the point where you could destroy a $35 to $40 million aircraft, kill people down on the ground, and kill yourself. So you have the luxury of being in an environment that most of the worries about trading are all self-created. There is not really, when I think about getting in and out of a trade, there's nothing scary to me about that at all. I don't ever get into a trade thinking, oh my gosh, everything's going to go wrong today, or life could suddenly change terrible. You can let it get that way financially if you don't have control, but really, what do you really have to worry about when you get in a trade? Nothing. It's not going to kill you. So, you know, it's not like you're juggling swords or juggling balls of fire on sticks or something. It's just most of the fear that people have of the market is because they're dramatically creating false fears that aren't there, and they haven't created yet any positive psychology. So when they do get in trades, they have an unknown. I'm getting in the market and I don't know yet how I'm going to handle if things go wrong. It's usually the fear comes from the unknown of not yet having a capability of knowing how to handle when things don't go right. So getting the psychology by doing very, very simplistic, easy, very high probability type setups repetitiously, and typically you have to have about 3 to 4 weeks, typically 21 to 30 events take place that show you undeniable success, whether you make a tick, 2 ticks, or 4 ticks, and you're profitable after 21 to 30 repetitious successive events before you have enough proof that your subconscious psychology will believe that, wait a minute, I am successful consistently at trading. Of course, it's on a very minimal scale, but that's the beginning step you have to build before you can go to the bigger steps where, hey, now I can make 500 a week to, hey, now I can make 2,000 a week. Because gradually you keep expanding that constructive psychological capability, which is now working for you every time you get in a trade instead of against you, and that's what tends to bring in the dynamic profitability, because you're then very comfortable about expanding your trade setups, expanding your capabilities, getting into more than just one lot, getting into 2 lots, then maybe a month later getting into 3 lots. I mean, it's the new constructive psychology and the undeniable truth to yourself, seeing yourself being profitable, even if you're only making 2 ticks per trade. If you see in reality that you make 21 to 30 trades, we're about 21 out of 30 trades are positive, you have undeniable truth that from study shows human beings will believe that reality that they've just lived through will start to defeat negative psychology that may be built on false perceptions, life experiences, or previous, failures. To be able to pierce through and set down all that old psychology like old luggage and set it down and walk away from it, you have to replace it with some new constructive psychology. And you can never psych yourself into new constructive psychology. You have to build it from the ground up, and the best way to build it is by very controlled, very simplistic, very small, minuscule tasks. In this case, it'd be very small scalps, getting in, getting out, grabbing a profit. Hey, it was profitable. Trade's done, successful. After actions review, what did I do good in that trade? What did I do bad? Okay, this I did bad. I'll do it better next time. What am I going to make sure I do to next time do it better? And change your trade plan, change your something in it. Then next trade, boom, you get in. Oh, scratched out, flat, no biggie. Okay, next trade set up. Okay, when you've done about 21 out of 30 trades, 21 or more profitable in that very quick get in, get out, all you're trying to do is not make a lot of money, but start building believable, realistic, undeniable psychology that, hey, I was profitable and I just proved it to myself, and here's the P&L, and here's the life experiences of all those trades that I lived through to prove it. Now you're on the right road to start becoming profitable if you are not yet profitable. That is a key component and must take place to have any chance at building proper positive psychology. Okay, so what do we got here? We're cleaning out. Markets kind of decaying, euro dollars dropping, US dollars bouncing, getting into the last hour and 12 minutes on the day, and equities is like, oh, great. Euro dollar is going to fall off again at the end of the day, and equities is like, okay, we're not interested. Equities is weakening. That's pulling the futures markets back to the point that anybody that bought earlier in the day in this area or bought these previous rotations, they just unwound and said, okay, we're out of here. It looks like the long game isn't going to stick for now, and we're gonna sit back and maybe wait for a better setup later.